And welcome into the Press Box Fantasy Football Show. Glenn Clark, Paul Valley, but most importantly, back from the dead from his harrowing ordeal. He is our lovely and talented host, Mr. Ken Zalis. What's going on, KZ?
What's up?
Good to actually see you again.
Yeah, good to be seen. First public outing.
Yeah, have you back in studio with us for the Fantasy Football Show today.
Yes.
The Press Box Fantasy Football Show is brought to you by Glory Days Grill, where they have the winter seasonal menu back featuring all of those comfort food favorites that you love, like the short rib grilled cheese sandwich, which is just a combination of words that makes my mouth salivate every time I say it. Short rib grilled cheese sandwich. Ah, that's the way the world should be. Also, they've got the house-made meatloaf, the center-cut sirloin with the grilled shrimp, char-grilled pork tenderloin, the grilled meatloaf sandwich, smoky thigh wings with Alabama barbecue sauce, and a Brussels and bacon appetizer. You know what? The hell with it. We're not doing this show. We're just going to Glory Days Grill, guys.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Can I say that the KZ transition music to get to this show is like a classic "hurry up and do this now" song? Like,
okay.
like if you're
right.
if you're
feel
watching
like a level of intensity,
like a game show
right.
on television,
Yeah.
and it's like you have to do this right
All right,
now.
so you feel like you're hurrying up
against a
and
timer?
go to Glory Days Grill?
That's that's the music.
GloryDaysGrill.com is the website. Get your orders in right now for the weekend. And you got a lot of stress right now. Got a lot of things going on. Just take dinner out of your own hands and let Glory Days Grill handle it for you. All right, KZ, much to discuss. Final week of the regular season, except for in your stupid league.
Actually, many leagues, but
No,
yes.
not many leagues.
I'm
in your stupid league.
I just want to tell you, I'm in one of these high level, put in a lot of money.
Oh,
how
interesting.
Leagues, and it's called contract fantasy football. It's like a dynasty league, but there's with contracts, and
Yeah.
you have a big salary cap. So I am in the playoffs.
Oh.
But it is our playoff week.
Yeah. Maybe you have somebody particularly important on bye, huh?
I own Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, that's really weird. It's the exact same scenario in your stupid league.
I own Myles Gaskin.
Ah, that's too bad. Yeah.
I own Jalen Hurts.
Oh, no. Well, that's all. That's just a real bummer.
I have zero chance to win this game.
Nothing like looking down at that bench and seeing there's Jonathan Taylor just sitting there waving at me in the playoffs in your stupid league. So
I apologized 2 weeks ago for this.
Yeah, that doesn't make it okay.
It doesn't.
It doesn't make it okay.
But I feel your pain.
God. All right, let's talk about what's happening. You mentioned during my show Dalvin Cook expected to return this week.
Tonight.
I'm assuming full faith, full go.
So
he plays.
Here's what we know about Dalvin Cook. He's always had these little knick-knack injuries. He's missed games before, but anytime he is active, they give him a full workload.
Oh, he playing.
So if he's active, he's a top 5 running back for me this week.
Sure.
And unfortunately, for me and many, many other people who rode Mr. Madison last week, he's almost unusable.
Yep.
You want to try him in the flex, and if you think that, look, short week, it's not a short week for Dalvin Cook. He's been dealing with an injury. He's back. Maybe there's a chance of re-injury. I don't. You want to take that risk? That's fine. I think if you got to find an option that's going to get more touches. The last time this happened, Dalvin Cook outtouched Madison 25-3. When Dalvin Cook plays, he's the guy.
He's the guy.
It's never a timeshare.
There's on top of everything else, there's a fire alarm going off in the building. It's just what it is. We're just going to keep doing the show, though. Keep telling me about. Maybe it's somebody sounding the
Madison alarm.
Correct.
I need him to play. Look, I put up in a league the most points in the league the entire year because of guys like Madison and Sony Michel last week.
Yep.
But you can't use them. I mean, you are literally flipping a coin by putting Madison in there because traditionally that's not the play.
All right, let's talk about the Detroit situation.
I don't think Swift's back yet.
Okay.
it doesn't sound like he hasn't really practiced.
Okay.
Doesn't sound to me. And this was more of a like Dalvin Cook was always a 1 to 2 week thing. This was always with Swift. They said right away it's like 3 to 4 weeks. I don't think he plays. So Jamal's fine.
But he wasn't overwhelming last week.
He wasn't overwhelming, but he was solid. Again, if you're I think the biggest disappointment from Williams last week was that he didn't get up to 6-7 catches. But he's getting all the touches. Like they didn't give Jefferson or Equibeway, if I said that right. It's probably
close enough. Yes.
Close enough for me, especially.
Oh, 100%.
They gave them each like 2-3 touches max. So it's Williams and good enough spot for me.
Julio Jones.
Looks like he's going to play. Limited. They have to. Again, these are these weird situations where you have to watch it. The fantasy world thinks he's going to play. They still have to quote activate him to open the window, and we've seen most times when they open the window, that means you're ready to go. Would love to see a full practice either today or tomorrow from him. But yeah, it looks like he's going to play. And look, Brown's still out, so if he's playing, he's probably a wide receiver, low 2, high 3 for me.
Okay, I mean, it sounds like you're playing him, right? Sounds like you're playing him.
They have nobody else to throw to.
The San Francisco backfield situation
looks like Hasty. Wilson. First of all, wasn't good when they gave him the opportunity to be good and be the guy. He's still nicked up. Really hasn't practiced in 2 weeks. The Mitchell thing, we thought it was a concussion, but now on top of the concussion, there's a little bit of a knee irritation, they're calling it. So Hasty looks like the last man standing. They signed somebody off their practice squad, which is never really a good sign for the de facto starter. So I think Hasty's a guy that as long as Mitchell is down on game day, I think you fire him up, and he serves as the Madison or Sony Michel that you had last week for injured guys. And Cincinnati, solid middle of the pack run defense, but they love to run the ball. And Hasty's shown some bursts before. It's
the Pressbacks Fantasy Football Show with Ken Zalis. Let's talk about the Cincinnati backfield situation.
Yeah, look,
we at the moment
there's no reason to believe that Mixon's not going to play.
Right.
Now, it is a neck, and, like a back, you wake up.
What about the other two things? Neck, back, and my blank.
Hey,
yeah, not about those two things.
You wake up and, those things sometimes overnight can stiffen up and, have different things happen. I think if you're a Mixon owner and Perrine is out on the waiver wire, I think he should be added just to be safe. And I think Perrine's a guy that if Mixon, for whatever reason, sits, is you load him up in your lineup. Not a great matchup against the 49ers, but you are at home, and he does catch the ball out of the backfield a little bit. So, but I right now, unless Mixon does not practice today, then we got to really start thinking about, maybe there's an opportunity.
Well, the word was he didn't practice yesterday, not because of the neck, because he was sick. Yes.
Yeah. And we know what sick means sometimes. I don't know. I mean, apparently there's a flu going around a couple of different teams right now as well. But yeah, I mean, I want to see him practice Friday. And then if he practices Friday, even on a limited basis, I think you're firing him up.
The Logan Thomas thing was fun while it lasted.
Oh, so annoying, so annoying. You held him. You picked him up because he was coming back, and then he didn't come back. But you're like, oh, he's any week now. He comes in, scores a touchdown. You're like, okay, I got a top 5 guy again, and we're done.
Yep. It's over. It's over.
It's like the South Park news guy. And we're gone.
And it's gone. Yep, 100%. It's exactly what it is. And it's gone. So Ricky Seals-Jones
looks like he's back. And I will say this. If Ricky Seals-Jones doesn't go, I mean, Bates has been included. Like, whoever the starter, here's the fun thing with Washington. Whoever the starting tight end is, they play 85% of the snaps, no matter what. No matter who it's been. It's been Bates, It's been Ricky Seals-Jones. It's been Logan Thomas when he came back. I mean, he played, even though his first game back he was, we didn't know what to do with him, but he played 85% of the snaps. So their starting tight end is their starting tight end. It's like there's not a mix. There's no sharing. He's on the field for 50% of the snaps. So Bates becomes a guy that, if you got some guys hurt or you got some guys on bye, you could do worse than a guy that's playing 85% of the snaps.
Is there any world where we're playing Justin Fields this week with him being back as the starter for the Bears?
I mean, there's worlds. I mean, if you have bye issues, I mean, I wish he was available in one of my leagues because everybody's either on bye or hurt for me. I may have to start Jake Fromm this week.
Wait,
yes,
what?
I know.
But
Well, if Glennon doesn't go for the Giants, Jake Fromm is playing.
I didn't realize that was a thing either.
That is a thing.
Jeez.
I mean, I have Hurts. I have Tua. They're both on bye. I have Daniel Jones. He's hurt. I picked up Glennon. He's hurt. So where do we go now? We go to Jake Fromm.
That is really depressing.
So yeah, there are situations. And look, before Fields went down with the injury, we started to see an improved quarterback who was starting to use his legs like we all thought he would coming into the league. So, he's not Taysom Hill, but you know what I mean. We could get 70 yards on the ground from him. There are scenarios where you can play him this week. I think it's risky on the road against Green Bay.
Yeah.
Good defense.
Yeah.
But, some people you got to do what you got to do. Look, you come into
where did you have Justin Fields ranked, by the way?
I have him 24th right now.
So yeah, it sounds you'd have to be either you have to be in a 2-quarterback league or you have to be desperate.
But you have to be desperate to trust it. But there are lots of desperate teams. I mean, the Week 14 bye, we've been complaining about it since Week 1, and here we are. There are a lot of good players on these teams that are playing really good football, and it's not just the Jonathan Taylor thing. I mean, Miami and the Eagles have pieces that you want to use this week that you just simply can't. And, Waddle and Tua have been terrific for 3 weeks. Sucks they're not there. As much as it sucks that we don't have Jonathan Taylor, Carson Wentz is a guy that I'd rather have Carson Wentz playing this week than Fields. So, but it is what it is.
And then the Seattle backfield.
Whatever. I mean, it's Adrian Peterson.
Is it really though?
Who else you got? If you have to start a person from the Seattle, like you're desperate and you're saying,
I thought it was Rashad Penny.
No.
Didn't they say Collins is back this
Whatever. You can't play any of them outside of Adrian Peterson and hope that he gets a short touchdown like last week. I mean, we can knock him all we want, and we can make all the fun we want of 10 carries for 18 yards. But he scored a touchdown, so it put him in the top, 30 of running backs last week. Okay, he is the only one, and please don't get fooled with the whole Travis Homer thing. I mean, it was a special teams run. He didn't lead the team in rushing.
Right. It was
a special
punt.
teams fake punt for 73 yards. And all of a sudden you're looking on the list and you're like,
see he scores.
ooh,
yeah, right.
He had 3 carries for 80 yards. Well, he had 1 carry for 73 on a fake punt, and he scored. Okay? If you have to use any of them, for me, it's Adrian Peterson.
All right. Very good.
Hate it all, but that's where we are.
It's a weird world that we're living in.
I saw so much money spent on Adrian Peterson this week of Fab because we are in Week 14. So let's
you have to win these games too, right? You have to win these games.
There he is.
All right. You want to tell everybody about Underdog Fantasy Football?
I would love to. Underdog Fantasy Football. Very excited, especially here in Maryland, that we're going to be able to place bets, but you can only do it by going to the casinos. So what do? You join Underdog.
By the way, I'm going to go do next Wednesday.
Okay.
I am next Wednesday. I'm going to Live Casino Hotel because I want to go. I have not in my home. I've never been able to do it. I'm going to go place a bet at Live Casino Hotel.
I will probably do it, next Saturday or something, and do a couple of player props and things like that. But if you can, and if you're not near that place, or any of the other casinos that will take bets, we can kind of do the parlay thing with player props on Underdog Fantasy. place 2 to 5 win up to 20 times your money if you hit 5 out of 5. So a $1 bet, you can win $20. $5 bet, you can win $100. If you haven't joined yet, and I don't know why you haven't, go head over to UnderdogFantasySports.com or at UnderdogFantasy on Twitter. Put in a deposit, put in the code PressBox, and you will get up to $100 matched on your first deposit, and you can play not only the parlays, but there are weekly salary cap contests and weekly draft contests. Not only football, you can do the NBA if that's your thing as well, or NHL, or even EPL in soccer and things like that.
Oh, it's a lot of
It's
fun.
fun.
It's a lot of fun, and if you're winning money, it's even more fun. But even it's just a lot of fun to play and to have interest and to feel like you're betting.
Yes.
Even though
Absolutely,
it's a whole different conversation.
Absolutely, it was great. The played all the unders on the on the quarterbacks on Monday night. It was fantastic.
I mean, it seems like a smart thing to have done, considering they couldn't throw the ball.
That's great.
All right, when we come back in, we're going to have an awkward conversation about James Robinson, and then we are going to set your lineup. So this is the last call for you to get your questions in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter or in the comments section on Facebook in the video, and we will pose them to KZ for the week. That's next. It's the PressBox Fantasy Football Show.
Need to hone your computer skills to boost your career? Or maybe you want an IT certification. CCBC Continuing Education has the courses and programs you need for a career in the computer field. And it's all tuition free. From the basics to specialized training, we have the classes you need, from hardware to programming to cybersecurity, and so much more. It's your choice. It's your career. Call 443-840-4700 or visit ccbcmd.edu/computer training.
Glory Days Grill's winter seasonal menu is back with comfort classics like their house-made meatloaf and short-rib grilled cheese. It also features the center-cut sirloin with grilled shrimp, the char-grilled pork tenderloin, grilled meatloaf sandwich, smoky thigh wings with Alabama barbecue sauce, and a Brussels and bacon appetizer. All of these items pair well with Devil's Backbone 8-Point IPA or their anniversary IPA brewed by Devil's Backbone. And try their seasonal cocktails, Blood Orange Bourbon Cider, Apple Ginger Mule, and Captain's Hot Cider. Find out more and get your order in today at glorydaysgrill.com. Great food, good sports.
Window Depot Baltimore provides the highest quality Pro-Via windows, doors, and siding for all budgets. The best is finally affordable. Call them today for a free in-home consultation at 410-941-3499. They also offer Zoom and FaceTime consultations in an effort to practice social distancing. A proud sponsor of the Tyus Bowser Show, you can find out more at WindowDepotBaltimore.com.
If you change lanes and brake suddenly in front of my tractor trailer, I won't be able to stop. Our lives could change forever. Trucks need room to stop. Don't cut it close.
Brought to you by the Maryland Department of Transportation State Highway Administration.
The all-new FanDuel Sportsbook is coming soon to Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Maryland, this is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
What's up, everybody? This is Tyus Bowser. I can't wait to see you guys for the Tyus Bowser Show this fall. We're going to be taking the show on the road all over the area. You can meet me and my very special guests. If you can't make it out, you can watch the show on live on PressBox Facebook page or listen the next day. Find out more about where we'll be by checking out PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. We'll see you all season long for the Tyus Bowser Show.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, December 21st at Skipjack's on Bel Air Road in Overley. The show is brought to you by PressBox, Grade 8's Memorabilia, Window Depot Baltimore, WindowDepotBaltimore.com, Duffy's Garage in Baldwin, Duffy'sGarageMD.com, and the NFL chick Sarita Hubbard joins the show courtesy of MyBookie.
All right, back in here on the PressBox Fantasy Football Show with Ken Zalis. It's time to start setting some lineups. As always, mine are the most important to set. But this is you know what, Chris, you're right, I should have brought this up. Is there a story on Alvin Kamara this week? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, the expectation is he's playing.
I mean, that that kind of comes out of nowhere, doesn't it?
Well, no, he kind of. We thought he was going to come back last week because he got a limited in,
right?
But then he was a DNP on Friday, so or whatever day it was. But he practiced and he didn't practice, and then he was out. They don't have. I mean, if he's close, they're going to have to play him.
Mm-hmm.
Ingram's out on the COVID list. They don't have anybody else. I mean, we're talking about Ty Montgomery.
So if he plays, you're playing him, right?
He's 8th on my list this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So I should have covered that. Thank you, Chris. I should have covered that.
Yeah.
In the
I mean,
previous segment.
he's to me, he's playing. He was limited on Wednesday, which is actually a good sign. We'll see where he is today and tomorrow. But the expectation is he will be back.
Okay, so now let me throw in the Denver situation where we finally got our Javonte Williams day, and now, are we afraid that goes away because Melvin Gordon is back?
Sure we are. We're petrified, but we're playing him.
Okay, because this is the question that I'm going to ask you.
Because we're playing him.
And it's going to be awkward for you.
It is. But he's playing Detroit. There's plenty of room for both.
Javonte Williams, because I'm going to start Kamara. Javonte Williams or James Robinson. If there's good news, this week almost essentially does not matter to me in this league.
Well,
I can't get a bye. I can't fall out of the play. I don't think.
So,
I was trying to do that math. I don't think I can fall out of the playoffs. That's why honestly I want to play Javonte Williams.
I have James Robinson ranked as low as I've had him all year.
This man loves James Robinson like he was a member of the Zalis family.
Before
but
the draft.
You have not been able to quit him. You have not been able to quit him.
But this goes back, for people that think it's new, this go back.
Oh, okay,
I wrote this. I wrote about James Robinson before the NFL draft.
This man loves
him.
James Robinson. He's attempted to legally adopt him, which is strange because they've never met.
All he is productive when given the opportunity to be productive.
But the thing is, he doesn't get that opportunity.
But his idiot coach, God, if I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, I just want Meyer fired. He has ruined everything about that, including their quarterback that they drafted. I mean, it's Williams. I don't hate the matchup for Robinson. I mean, Tennessee, they've been better, but it's not like you can't move the ball on the ground against them. I trust him. I don't trust his coach. He benched him. And then, to make it worse, he benched him, and then they put him in for 3 carries on the last drive for a guy that's had knee and heel issues in a game you were losing by 20. The most insane usage of this guy. I feel so. God, I wish he would get out of there. It's Williams. Even if it's a 60-40, and I believe it's not a 50-50 anymore with him and Gordon, I think Williams has earned the right with what he did last week. Detroit can't stop anybody on the ground. And I think that they run and run again. I think there's enough for both guys if you want to play both guys, but it's Williams over Robinson.
Apparently, Trevor Lawrence was going off a little bit this week about how James Robinson needs to be on the field. I don't know.
He's your best. He's literally your best football player.
Yeah, I'm with you.
He's your best football player. I don't care unless the man fumbles 3 times in the same game inside the 5. The man needs to be in the game, and you need to use him more. He was. How you come into an organization and don't realize what the man did the year before. He's good out of the backfield. I get the Carlos Hyde. You loved him in college. This isn't close, and and this isn't even a fantasy thing. If I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar football fan, I want my best players on the field. How you have ruined him, Lawrence, and Chenault this year all at the same time is absolutely incredible.
That's remarkable. You're not wrong about that. All right, Dan wants to know. This is a compelling question. Dan says, at this point, should I just be dropping Calvin Ridley altogether and using my IR spot on Logan Thomas? Or should I be dropping Logan Thomas altogether? I'm going to need one of those spots for a tight end.
Well, Logan Thomas isn't going to play this year, so unless this is some kind of keeper league, there's zero reason.
And by the way, if it's a keeper league and you only keep one of them, I'd still be keeping Calvin Ridley over Logan Thomas.
I'll say this.
Has that finally been confirmed, by the way, about Logan
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes,
I know
they put
it
him
was,
on IR.
Well, but was it season-ending IR or was
Well,
it?
it doesn't matter if you're in the fantasy playoffs.
Well, because
it's at least 3 weeks. He's done. He's not coming back. He's not coming back. So there's no reason to keep Logan Thomas, in my opinion. I actually just cut him this morning in one of my leagues, just flat out.
Was there a ceremony? Was there anything
No,
formal that you did?
look. I mean, these things happen.
I, by the way, own him in my George Kittle league, so I'm good there.
Yeah.
So tell me who you would drop him for. If I drop him today,
okay,
you dropping him for Hasty, Osborne, or another tight end to have a back, make a Ricky Seals-Jones.
If it depends what you need.
I probably won't play any of these guys this week.
Okay, so if you're not going to play Hasty this week,
yeah,
I would expect Mitchell back in a week or so.
Right.
To me, it's Osborne because I think that Thielen, it's a confirmed high ankle sprain. He's out at least 2 to 3 weeks to me with high ankle sprains, unless he has an ankle different than every other NFL player in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's Osborne who has the most value.
So by the way, where do you have Osborne ranked for this week?
I have him. I believe I have him flexworthy in the top 30.
Okay. All right.
I'll tell you in a second where I have him. I'm at 31.
Okay. All right.
That may or may not go up and down based on a couple of other injury notes that come in, but he's a solid wide receiver 3 for me this week.
Okay, very good. But just to finish, is there any reason people should be holding on to Calvin Ridley?
So in Dan's situation, I mean, if you can hold on to him, yes. I'll say this. The Atlanta Falcons have not heard from Calvin Ridley.
That's what I'm saying. It just doesn't.
If you need the IR spot,
yeah,
or you need the bench spot at this point, yeah, cut him.
It seems really unlikely.
I mean, it seems real.
I mean, I get it. They're technically they're 5-7. They're not really out of it yet.
I mean, they win this week. I mean, do you make a phone call and say, hey,
how you feeling, right?
But all reports from the one guy that it Ledbetter, who is
Orlando Ledbetter,
yeah, is like really in tune with Atlanta, reported this week. Like, they haven't heard from him at all. Like, whether they've reached out or not, they have, since he's left the team, they haven't heard from him. So there's no indication he's coming back. I let Ridley go in a league that I needed the IR spot and needed the bench spot. You can do the same. I just, it's one of those things. If you can afford to keep him and you don't need the bench spot, you don't need the IR, there's no harm in keeping him. And maybe he comes back for week 16 or 17. But we're in 14, folks. I mean, he's not coming back this week, not coming back next week. Hasn't played football in 6 weeks. How long does it take him to get back in shape and football shape? We don't know. So the odds of him coming back and playing another down this year are probably very slim.
All right, start 2 of these: Darnell Mooney, Marquise Brown, Jarvis Landry, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy.
Does he say PPR?
Yes.
PPR, I'm going to go Landry and Jeudy. I mean, I think they're safe. I think they're safe. I mean, Landry, I don't know what kind of defense the Ravens are going to play Sunday. My brain says they may have to play a little bit more zone than they're used to. And if that's the case, that's where Landry lives, in the middle of a zone. They don't have, outside of Hooper, any tight ends that are healthy or able to play. So I like the upside of Landry, and when Teddy throws it
with Hollywood Brown, it's sad to think, but I get it.
I don't look. How do you trust it right now? I don't know how you trust it, and if it was a half PPR, I may bring Mooney and Brown back into the fold, but it's straight PPR. I'm going to take the 6 to 7 points I think Landry and Jeudy automatically get from catching the ball and go from there.
Pat Freiermuth or Zach Ertz?
Freiermuth. I mean, Ertz has done nothing outside of those 2 short touchdowns the one game. And he really, if you look in the games this year that Hopkins has been there, he's really done nothing. So he's not like those red zone looks that he got when Hopkins was out of the lineup. Go back to Hopkins. We saw that last week.
Okay. Go ahead, Paul. Get yours in.
Carr, Heineke. Okay, and keep in mind I'm facing the wife with my playoff hopes on the line here.
Oh boy!
All right.
Oh boy! This is
so.
So
Am I starting Heineke, Cam Newton, or Carr at quarterback?
yuck.
No.
Yuck.
I'm going to show you. So you know, look where I have them.
Cam Newton, Heineke, and Carr, 14, 15, 16.
like they're in that same mode. Cam has the best matchup. Cam has the ability to put the rushing yards and the touchdown in. I lean Cam there. I don't love any of them. They're all QB2s for me this week, but because of the matchup and because of the ground game that Cam could bring to the table, I lean his way. I know Cam was god-awful and got benched last time. Trust me, I know that. But those rushing yards and the potential for a rushing touchdown make me lean that way.
All right, I have the Carolina defense. Am I starting them, or should I start the Seahawks or the Titans defense? I know you don't like defense questions, but again, got to beat the wife.
We're certainly not starting the Seahawks defense. Why do you have the Seahawks defense?
I don't. They're
okay.
they're able to be. They're playing Houston.
I get it. Like they don't do anything. I mean, I have the Titans here.
Okay.
I Jacksonville doesn't do anything offensively. The Titans have actually, before their bye, were an improving unit.
Mm-hmm.
I have them as the highest one this week.
In my other league, I have Kyle Pitts. I'm starting him in a flex spot, but he has yet less than 50 yards receiving each of his last 3 games. I have on my bench Hasty and hang on one second. My apologies. On my bench, I have Hasty and Tevin Coleman. Should I start one of them over Kyle Pitts?
If Mitchell is out, and then I would go Hasty because we're going to go with the guaranteed touches. Coleman, I'm not thrilled with. I know he had a decent game, but that's still so many mouths to feed, and each week it's a different guy there. I mean, 2 weeks ago was some guy named Walter that we've never heard of. Otherwise, I go Pitts.
And finally, in our league, because we have to have 17 different skill position players, should I start Madison or Adrian Peterson? I know what you said about both of them.
I mean, it's Peterson.
It's
Peterson over. I mean, and again, I just go back to this is not this year. This is like a 3-year thing with Cook and Madison. We love Madison, but when Cook plays and when Cook is active, they feed him. They give him, and you're looking at less than 5 touches potentially from Madison. So it's even if Peterson gets the same 10, he's got more chances.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Need to hone your computer skills to boost your career, or maybe you want an IT certification? Then CCBC Continuing Education is the courses and programs you need for a career in the computer field, and it's all
free.
Tuition free. Tuition free. From the basics to specialized training, we have the classes you need, from hardware to programming to cybersecurity and so much more. It's your choice. It's your career. Call 443-840-4700 or visit ccbcmd.edu/computer training. Any final thoughts that you have for us as we get ready for...
I have a few.
Yes.
One, and I know we spent a lot of time on Dalvin Cook. All the reports are he's going to play. Please do not just put him in your lineup right now and don't check it again before kickoff. These things have a way he could get... Who knows? He could twist the wrong way in warm-ups, and he could be inactive. Don't go dropping Madison because I said he's useless this week. You look at beforehand. Tony Pollard, very popular in the fantasy community. Borderline unstartable this week. I get it. But they don't give him enough touches.
All right.
He needs a long touchdown in order to be productive. Now, he got that each of the last 2 weeks. But he's also dealing with a little bit of a foot issue. And the last word we got out of Dallas was they are hopeful that he will be able to go. Okay. He's not an automatic plug-and-play for me. Chase Edmonds could be back this week as the Cardinals continue to get healthier and healthier. Doesn't diminish Connor as a must start. It diminishes Connor in the number of touches he's going to get. So maybe he's not an RB1, he's a high RB2 in that situation. And then, like I said, the Elijah Mitchell and Hasty thing, please watch that. I don't expect Elijah Mitchell to go. He's still in the concussion protocol, but he's also dealing with a little nick, something with his knee that apparently nobody knew about until this week. And finally, Darrell Henderson Jr., I know he was active last week, but he did not see the field. He did not take one snap. And there is some concern that maybe he re-aggravated something because they signed, I believe it's the kid's sergeant from their practice squad to be active this week. When teams do that, that usually means they're preparing for
some sort of issue, right?
So Sony Michel is a guy that I think you can fire up again. But if you were hoping for Darrell Henderson to be back again, just check the practices the rest of this week and make sure that is. It's just concerning that they activated another running back early this week.
Sure.
So just watch that.
All right, James, this is the last one. Heineke, Bridgewater, Tannehill, or Mayfield? I'm assuming these are all guys that are available for him. I guess he's got Tua or somebody.
Well, I could usually do this off the top of my head, but I can't.
Heineke, Bridgewater, Tannehill, or Mayfield?
God. Tannehill.
Does he get Julio back?
Yeah, as long as so this is the way we're going to do that. If Julio plays, it's Tannehill. If Julio is still out, it's Heineke. Is what it is.
All right, man. At Fans Fantasy on Twitter, that's how you follow him. He'll be back with me on Sunday for the Project Game Day post-game show. Yeah, that's a bad bit that I don't much care for. So we will see you then, and we'll see you next Thursday at 11:30 a.m. for the next Press Box Fantasy Football Show. Have a great week. We will talk to you then.